Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome to today's video. Today we're finally going to get the Braum seats installed in our S4, so let's get to it and get them unwrapped. Also, don't mind my face, I'm just trying to get my quarantine stash going. Alright, so let's jump right into it. First thing we're going to do is, of course, get the seats out of the protective bag here. Alright, so the first thing we'll do when we get inside is go ahead and roll our seats all the way back, and that'll give us access to these covers down here, which we'll have to pop off to get to the bolts that hold the seat down. Once we're down here, I have the seat all the way back, we'll go ahead and grab the plastic cover and you'll actually just slide this one forwards, and that'll give you access to the bolt holding this side of the frame on. Now we'll go ahead and grab a 6mm Allen head and get that bolt removed. And now we'll do the same thing to the other side. So we'll go ahead and reach over, grab the cover, slide it out, and we'll get to that bolt down there as well. Now once you have those front bolts removed, we're pretty much done here. You officially completed your wheelie seat installation. So you see here, complete wheelie seat. Now back to the actual seat removal. Once we have the seat leaned back like this, we can go ahead and reach under, and right at the front, you'll actually find the seat harness that controls the powered seats and also the heated seats. So we'll go ahead and pull those wires out. Now once you get all of those out, we can move on to the back of the car to get the rest of the seat off. Now once we move over to the back, you're going to find a Phillips head screw on this cover here, and also the cover facing towards the outside of the seat here. So you remove those two Phillips heads and the plastic covers slide off, and then we can go ahead and slide the rest of the seat back here. So just to show you guys where these Phillips heads are, one of them is behind this plastic cover here that we just removed. So you'll go ahead and remove that and this cover will come off. And the other one is on this side here. There's a plastic cover there. Once you remove that, you'll be able to get to that Phillips. Once you remove those and remove the two plastic covers, we'll be able to slide the seat back and pull it up, and then we're free. Now that we have both those covers removed, we can go on to removing the seat. So what you'll do here is actually grab the back of the seat and slide it all the way back. Once you slide it all the way back, it'll get to where those covers were, and that'll allow you to actually pull up, because that's the end of the track there. So you'll have free range to pull the seat up, and once you pull it up, you're free to remove the seat. All right, so we got that one side out. Now we'll move over onto the other side. And once you remove the seats here, you'll see what was holding them in. These little square brackets here that were on the sliders. You can go ahead and remove the rest of the seat and get out of the car. So as you can see here, I weigh 217.2 pounds, so I'm going to carry the S4 seat now, just so we can get a good measure of what it weighs. Alright, that comes to 277.2. So that puts the S4 seats at just around 60 pounds. And now this is me carrying the Braum Elite X. 244.4 pounds minus my 217 puts us at about 27 pounds. So they're a little under half the weight of the S4 seats, and it's freaking noticeable when you carry them. Okay, so now we're moving into prepping the seats. So we're gonna go ahead and install the sliders. A lot of people don't install sliders, but I actually like to be comfortable in my car, so I will be installing them. So what we're gonna do is take the hardware that came with the seat. So we went ahead and took it off of these holes here, and we're gonna go ahead and install the sliders. So you see here, you have these graded holes on each side. We're gonna go ahead and put the sliders in. And when you do put the sliders on, make sure that these teeth you see here are facing down, well, in this case, towards the seat. If you install them the other way, you are installing them backwards, and you'll have to push instead of pull to slide. So just keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and do this here. There's a washer that comes on the seat. That washer should stay on the seat here, and we'll go ahead and just feed that first bolt through. Just thread that in a bit. And the next step here is to actually push down on the sliding mechanism here, just so you could find the space for the other bolt. So we'll go ahead and feed that washer through again. Grab the bolt, put the bracket on top, and then just feed that through here. Now we'll go ahead and repeat the same steps on the other side. After we have both sliders installed, it's time to install the slider handle. And this is a pressure fit, so what you'll do is slide in between the two and push in. So we'll lock in this side first. You see we have these little holes here that'll line up with these little tabs coming off of the sliders. Now once you line them up on one side, we'll go ahead and push on the opposite side. And then it'll slide in like that. And then just test your mechanism. See here, when we push up towards the top of the seat, the slider is disengaged and we can go ahead and slide the seats. Right now I can't do it because I'm not sitting on them, but the mechanism's working fine. Okay, so the next thing we have here is our seat brackets. So seat brackets are just as important as the seats when it comes to safety. You don't want to be relying on some cheap, old, for lack of better words, crappy brackets when you're installing your seats. So I went with planted brackets. They make a bracket especially for the B5 S4, and it's also what Braum recommended for their seats. So I went with the planted ones just for the ease of installation and also because they make a very good quality part. So we'll go ahead and get these installed. One thing I do recommend is when you go ahead and get the planted seat brackets, definitely do go ahead and get their hardware kit as well. It makes this installation so much easier. So you have the 4 nuts, bolts, and washers that we're going to use to attach the bracket onto the sliders, which we'll get onto right now. Okay, now to install the bracket, we'll go ahead and find the fitting holes on the slider. So you're actually going to have to play with this a bit. Just find 4 holes that'll match up exactly with what you have here. On this car, it turns out to be that the center slot here is what matches up on all 4 holes, so we'll go ahead and use that. So we'll feed the bolts through here. And the same thing at the bottom. And we're also going to do the same thing on the other side too. Now once you fed those all through, we'll go ahead and get those nuts threaded on, and then we'll go ahead and tighten them as well. And when you're going through to tighten them, that's a 13 mil wrench for the nut, and then the same 6 mil Allen that we're using for the bolt. Now once you've got the sliders and the brackets fully secured on the seats, it's time to test out the sliding mechanism. So we'll just push down here, slide back, slide forwards. Everything seems fine, so we're good to go and install the seats. All right, and now on to the next part of the weight reduction for the car. So as you can see, we have a bunch of scattered debris, garbage. This is easily 5 pounds, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
About 5 pounds of weight we're gonna shed here by vacuuming them. So let's get to it. All right, so just to give you guys an understanding of how the seat bracket installs into the car. So on the seat bracket, you have these here. So these would be what the sliders were on our stock seats. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna point these forwards and lay the bracket down. This is what we're gonna do when the seat's on there. And these are gonna slide into the rails where our seats were before. So when we're doing this, you gotta make sure that you have a gap here. You see this gap here, the rail is gonna ride in between that gap. And then once we have the seat in and in its proper location, we can go ahead and tighten this nut up, which will then lock the seat into the back of the rail here. So again, what we're gonna do is lay the bracket down here. Once we lay the bracket down, we will point these forwards, get them into the rails, both sides, and then we'll slide this forwards. You kind of have to walk it in there, watching both sides to make sure you're not hitting anything. And then we'll slide it completely forwards. So when we slide it all the way forwards, this is what you see here. We'll line up here with these holes that we have here and here. We got to tighten up these 2 bolts and then this back here, which will lock into the back rail, and then we're good to go. Now, once you get the seat on the rail back here and slid forwards, just like we saw with the bracket, you're gonna wanna go ahead and take your stock hardware that we took out from the stock seats and feed it through these brackets here. So you see we'll line up to this hole here and this bracket here. So feed that bolt through, thread that in, and we'll thread in the other side as well, and we'll torque those down. All right, now once we have the 2 front bolts tightened up, it's time to move on to the 2 bolts in the back, and that'll be a 19 mil wrench, and we'll tighten those up so it locks into the rails. Now, once you go ahead and tighten those 19 millimeter bolts that go again near the slider, you're all set and your seat is installed. So we'll go ahead and move on to the other side, and then we're all done. All right, so the last step in installing our seats is actually to have our seatbelt buckles installed. So you'll have to take these off of the old seats, the stock seats. It's a 17 mil wrench to take them off of the side. Make sure when you do take them off, you keep in mind which one is the passenger and which one is the driver. The driver's seat one will come with a wire, which I have here, and have cut off. So what we'll have to do with this is, once you install the seatbelt buckle, we'll have to take this wire and splice it into the harness in its spot, so that way you don't have a seatbelt light when the car thinks you don't have your seatbelt buckled in, but you actually do. And after that's done, we are all set. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you like the seats, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.